Welcome, everybody to FTS. Tonight we'll be touching on gun violence, peer pressure, freedom, entitlement, and how do today's hip hop influence our young people in our community. My name is Auntie Mula. We have a special guest with us tonight, Mr. Patton, and we have my co-host to the right.
And with the plan, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay, tonight I have a question for Mr. Patton to get us kick starting and rolling. What does from the streets for the streets means to you?
Well, first and foremost, let me introduce myself.
Yes, introduce yourself.
At Fatso60. Yeah, man. Round her, she knows what's up. 60, she knows what's up. Now back to the question. Let me get that one more time.
What does from the streets for the streets mean to you?
From the streets, for the streets, mean to me is somebody that come from the street giving back on any level, on any scale. Like, regardless, it could be from giving a motherfucker giving somebody $5 to giving somebody a piece of game, dropping a jewel on something. I mean, in a street perspective. So that's what for the streets. From the street for the street means to me.
Okay,
Oh yeah, I like that.
I have quite a few questions for you. If you can help us tonight with what we're working on. Why do you think the homicides is at an all-time high in the city of Philadelphia?
Because because of the music, because of the influence, because it's almost like it's the right thing to do. That's the only answer now. Like, hey, fuck everything else.
So what you mean the right thing to do?
Like in the streets. I mean, I guess like in the streets, you got it's rules and regulations. And now, like back in the day, let's say one of the rules was, all right, like if somebody messed something up, we could go like it was a chain of command. You go tell somebody and he report to such and such. Now it's like, you fuck somebody up. You do something, you mess something up, you just dying about that. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no way around it.
So you did clarify. So you said something about the music. So you said you feel that the music has a lot of impact on the homicides.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
I mean, far as speaking from a younger group perspective, I want to say because I got a lot of young boys myself, and I see what's going on, and when you hearing, it's almost like this. It's impossible not to get sick being around a sick person all day. You know what I mean? If you listening, all right, we gonna go kill these niggas, then we gonna end up eventually gonna go kill them niggas. Like, we listening to some money shit, then we gonna be on some money shit. Like,
So do you think the parents has a lot to do with it as well? Because music is just entertainment.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a man of accountability first, so I don't offer no excuses. I don't care if he is a child or adult. Like, no excuses with me. But music, yeah, yes. And far as the parents having a part to play with it, I say yes and no because circumstantial, like like determines certain people outcomes. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
So I have so many questions for you because I know what an adult mind is. I don't know what the youth mind is. So I'm really trying to touch on a younger person's mind that's more out there in the streets than I am today because I can tell you all about how it once was in the street, about all the rules and regulations that the street followed, the codes, the drug game codes, the getting money codes, the robbery codes, any street codes that you want to know from 10 years ago on back. I can give them all to you. These new street codes is what I can't identify with. So what I'm trying to ask you is, why do you think it's so much of a gap between an older generation and a younger generation in their communications and the disrespect? Where do you think all of that came from?
I believe I can answer this question from experience and like from first hand. I actually just came out of jail, just did 10 years, 9.5 to be exact, 9 years and 6 months. So, and it was always a gap with the older dudes and the younger dudes.
Wait a minute.
And it was,
How old was you when you went in, and how old are you now?
I was 19 when I went to jail, and I came home 29. I'm 29.
And you just came home?
I just came home September 1st.
Well, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
So yeah, in jail, I seen the gap a lot. Like a lot of the older dudes was stuck in their way.
Okay.
Like they might see a young boy come through drawn on some shoot 'em up, bang bang shit, and don't want no parts of that young boy because he like that, versus trying to talk to him or being patient with him. A lot of these children didn't have father figures, so it's like they found the streets. And the streets became their father. And the things that they thought was right was really wrong, but it was glorified as being right, so they continue to do it. So it's like, damn, we might have to cut some footage, but I gotta get back. I was getting off topic. I'm getting back.
But a lot of see, I can't experience or tell you what you experienced in a men's prison, but for me in a women's prison, it was the opposite. When young girls came up Muncie, a lot of us women that was up there and the young girls came up there and they came up there on some goofy stuff, we would pull them, because if we didn't pull them, then the guards would pull them. And we're going to touch on that because we have a question about racism.
So I have a question. What do you mean pull them?
Pull them mean this is how it goes upstate with the prison guards that's upstate. The prison guards that's upstate, it maybe be one or two black guards out of 100 white guards. So a lot of the white people that's up in those counties where they send the black people to go do their time, they never really been around black people. The most they get is what they see on TV. So what happens is when you come into the state facility, they're not used to us talking with our hands. They're not used to us laughing.
So
like
they're not
this.
used to the lingo.
They're not used to none of that. And for real, from my experience, a lot of them was intimidated. A lot of the guards are fearful. So what they would do was, if you're not mentally intact, they would jug at you. Or if you seem like you're intimidated, they would try to do things to you to cause you to get in trouble. Once they get you in trouble, which means a write-up or something like that, and they're able to lock you in, then they put you on medication. And then they have you never being yourself again.
So is that called pull up?
No, pulling them mean when, just say young girl just get out of isolation. You might not know what isolation is if you've never been through the prison system. Prison system is you have to go through isolation for a certain amount of time for them to put you on the block or the area that you're going to be in for whatever time that you're going to be in prison.
Okay.
Once you get on that block, you have to stay there and go through multiple tests and all this kind of stuff before they place you out into the general population where the women that's been there for years has already been. You have to go through a screening, maybe 90 days. I don't know the numbers now, but you have to go through a screening. Once you come out from blues into browns, now you full-fledged DOC, Department of Correction inmate. And blues, you somebody else. You're still in the learning process. We come in a brown to the big yard because you're in a little yard when you first get there. We go to the big yard with the people that got 10, 20, 30, 40 years in. It's like you coming out of like a little get set going into a big, big school. And in saying that, you got guards on different quarters of the yard. Just watch and stay there to make sure, protect the care, custody, and control is what they supposed to do. But if you got young girls that don't know that these guards did already set like 3 women down maybe a month ago and gave them Thorazine and got them up, walking, backwards, really walking frontwards, but walking backwards. Then you pull them. So what I did, I learned the handbook. So when I see the young girls coming in, I would pull them and I would tell the guard, "You're not gonna do this to them. I'm not gonna let you." And then I would pull the young girls to the side and
Okay.
say, "Listen, this is what goes on up here," and that's what the men supposed to did to the young
So
boys. Like, so
basically, you looked out for him.
you, yeah,
Okay.
it was to me, it was my duty once
Right.
I knew.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I peeped it when I
Right.
came out. How you see how I go. If you probably everybody not paying attention in that way.
Okay.
So yeah, I was sort of like a protector up there, and I'm loving this because we on screen. Shout out to all my sisters in Muncie. I seen the pictures about 15 of y'all. I ain't gonna start hollering no names, but I seen a picture of y'all. I had an invite.
Freedom
Sorry
line
that
up.
I didn't make it, but I'm gonna have everybody that's home from Muncie on the podcast. Get with me, whoever hearing it. We need to come. We need to reach out. We need to try to get Brenda Watkins out. She got about 40 years in there. We said we would not forget them. Let's not forget them. Let's fight for our people that's still in prison. They got 30 and 40 years in. Let's try to get them home. So, you have
So
any questions?
I have a question for you. What advice can you give the young people that's going into the prison? A lot of these young males, 13, 14.
Make something at a time. Take advantage of that time you just sitting down. Learn how to think. Learn how to use your brain. Read. Educate yourself. I mean, come out the best version of you. Better yourself. I mean, take everything as a humble experience and open your eyes. See who there for you. See who ain't there for you. You know what I mean? And learn how to value yourself. Value yourself more. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you. What do you think? What do you think that we can do to make change in our communities, coming from a young person? What do you think that we need? What do you think that you guys need from us in the community, from old heads?
This shit, it's gonna sound kind of wild, but for now, to me, the solution to the young boys is just love them, whether they right or wrong. I think you start there, and then once they see that it's genuine, and then you direct them from there. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask
So
you
love,
this.
okay.
We talked about that. I believe love is the answer to everything,
I
and
believe
it
it
don't
as well.
cost anything.
To love.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Do you think that the peer pressure of one boy following the other boy have something to do with it? When you say have your own mind, the first thing you would say to me is, I got my own mind. I don't follow nobody. I stand on my own. But to me, that's not true. Not you, per se. I'm not talking about you personally, but I'm just saying a lot of these guys don't stand on their own. A lot of them move when somebody else moves just like that or with somebody else's command. And is that how it go?
In terms of peer pressure, from my perspective, in terms of peer pressure, I think you get to see who you separate the boys from the men, right? Because a nigga gonna stand by himself if he that comfortable within himself, regardless of what the situation is. I don't give a fuck if it's 10 niggas. I'm by myself. I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, I'm gonna die about the. I'm gonna give you all I got. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, so peer pressure comes with. I mean, like, it's different levels because you got that one dude that'll go by himself, but you got that other dude that won't go unless them other niggas there. You know what I'm saying? So you get peer pressure on different levels, and it's like, to me, I said, like, again, it's separating them boys from the men. I believe only a fool falls a victim to peer pressure, unless you just you're oblivious to it, and you don't understand what's going on in front of you. So,
And remember, a lot of children today have social media. So back when I was growing up, they didn't have social media. So it's totally different. And that's where the gap is.
I mean, the social media, it's like I said, I really didn't make the point I was trying to make about the gap between the older generation and the younger generation. Like coming through the jails, you see that a lot. Like again, if a young boy come through rowdy up on that bullshit, 9 out of 10 the old head don't want to deal with him. You know what I mean? Because the old head already in his bed, he already content.
Okay.
Motherfucker got 20 years in. You know what I mean? You see a young boy, and this how he was 20 years ago. He see a young boy coming in drawing, he looked to his left. I don't give a fuck, like, you know what I mean? It's no solidarity in a men's prison in Pennsylvania.
So nobody's talking to the young boy like, yo, don't do that.
Don't get it fucked up. Again, like Meek said, shout out all them real niggas in there, free all the guys, free the lineup. It's a lot of niggas who deserve that second chance, but for the most part, it's some watered down ass old heads on them Jones that don't give a fuck about them young boys and always talking shit and talking down about them young boys. You know what I'm saying?
So you think because they forgot they were young before?
Not only they forgot, they played out. They so like, see, with jail, it's that shit all mental. So if a motherfucker got 20 years in his mind, he got it like, I'm comfortable dying this way. And if you young boys come up trying to get this block locked down, I'm not going for it. See, he done fell into content. He done fell in letting these motherfuckers, he done accepted, he accepted his fate. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's like, you got a lot of them. I mean, unfortunately. But you got a lot of dumbass young boys too.
But let me cut in on that about the old heads in prison that's set in, because I know about that too with the women. You got some women in there, they you can't, it's two men cells. But a lot of them that got 10 or more and they in single cells, they set in their ways. Now, a lot of them don't get down and greasy and get involved because a lot of them trying to come home. They got that kind of time in. So a lot of them going up for commutation. They don't want a scratch on their record. They don't want nobody around them because some of them are burnt out, but some of them still want to come home.
So they don't want to get in trouble.
They don't want no trouble because when you go up for commutation, you want this book to be clean.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you get in any kind of trouble, one scratch, when you got 20 or more years in and you trying to fight to come home, one scratch on that paper can knock you all. You can go in front of them people and they can just see one little piece of speck. And they can close the book and say,
wow.
see you in 5 years. Or
Wow.
see you in 10 years. So I can understand some of the people that's that way that's trying to come home. A lot of people like, I'm not going to let this person take my date. There's a lot of that going up there on the prison too. Some people have a date and won't even come home on that date. I done seen that happen. I don't want to go home. People get comfortable, like he said. People
so they be content.
People do get content in there.
Okay.
People do get content in there. So that can happen. I have one more question for you for this segment. What do you think causes the injustices in the prisons and the racism and all the things that I'm sure you experienced in prison?
Well, first and foremost, it ain't no cell phones in prison. You know what I mean?
It
ain't no cell phones in prison. So their whole thing is, it's almost like a secret society. We ain't letting nothing get outside to the real world. Everything we got going on in here is what we got, and we run this shit. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no support, then it's even worse for you. If you ain't got no outside voice, you ain't got no motherfuckers pushing you from outside, it's gonna get dark for you in that joint. You know what I mean?
Was a lot of dark nights for a lot of dark people and dark days. But let me say something, and I have to say this. it is cell phones in there.
Yeah, for sure.
You said it ain't no cell phones.
So he
I
was-
said that.
You just said that.
I said it ain't no cell phones.
When
Yeah.
you said that, my whole inside.
That's why I'm like, well,
because
how
that's
they get him
part
in
of-
there then?
I said
That's
it ain't no
part
cell
of
phones.
Yeah, you
the
just said it.
reason.
Maybe you saying how they. Yeah, you just said no
I'm
cell
not
phones.
going to say how they get them in there because I know everything about how they
Yeah,
get them
we
in
know
there.
how they get 'em
If I
in there,
just
the
said that
seals.
shit, I didn't even realize I said that shit.
Right.
But
I'm glad y'all said something.
I'm saying this because, believe it or not, I believe, this is just me, I believe a lot of this crime stemming from them cell phones and them connections with the streets and the prisons.
Of course.
That's
Of
it.
course.
and that's
Hand
all.
in hand.
I disagree. I can't. I disagree because the streets is the streets. The jails is the streets. I mean, you could connect one or two either way, but if motherfuckers, violence is gonna happen. We in Philadelphia.
I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't create this sign or this thought for nothing. I'm from the streets. It ain't no money on the streets.
Disagree again.
The money is inside. They making more money inside on the street than a street nigga can make on the street.
We ain't gonna.
And one day, than a man can make on the street hustling in a week.
I don't want to get too much. caught
Talking
up.
to the mic for me.
I
Thank
don't-
you.
I don't want to get too caught up on the jails.
Well, we
But-
not going to
but-
be caught
but-
up in it at all.
What I am gonna say is, I mean, if you one of those niggas that just make shit happen, then you gonna make it happen. Bottom line, don't give a fuck where you at.
So I do have a question. And you said you went in. What age you went in?
I went in at 19.
So if you could do it over, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell your 19-year-old self?
Honestly, I don't know if it'd be shit I'll be able to tell it. I don't think he'll listen. Like,
If you could do it over, what would you tell him?
I tell him, I
Talking to the mic though.
I will tell him if I could do it over, and I could talk to my 19-year-old self before I went into the jail doing that 10 years. I tell that little nigga, man, take your time, bro. Like this shit ain't like it's more than life than a block. It's more than life than putting on or representing or feeling like a part of something. Like be your own man, be a leader. Be different. Be better than them. You know what I mean? I educate myself about. It'll be just way different. It'll be way. I took it different. It'll be different, for sure.
So, are you educating your 29-year-old mind to be totally different than what your 19-year-old mind was?
Absolutely, it's a challenge.
Mm.
It's a challenge.
Well, I
Mind
know
you,
if you're sitting here next to me, you telling your 29.
you gotta think about it. Before I went to jail, shit, I was on knucklehead time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I felt like really done right consistently. So like changing my mindset and striving to be out here for longer than a year, and like and just falling in the line of the repetitiveness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not easy, but I'm attacking it.
So are you talking to any youth, like maybe your cousins, if you have any siblings? Are you taking that advice that you just told me? Are you applying it to anyone in the community? And like it could be your family member.
Yes, for sure. I feel like that's my job. Just me being the person I am, seeing the things I've seen and been through the things I've been through. I'm obligated to tell
Okay.
one of my young boys, somebody that's younger than me, what's going on out here, and just waking them up. I'm obligated to do that.
So you're passing the knowledge. Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
You got any more questions, Auntie?
I have a lot more questions. I never stopped.
So we got 5 minutes left. So
We got 5 minutes left. How do you think the system can help our communities? With
system?
ideas, I mean, with ideas, not the system because they don't care, but the community leaders, the people of downtown that's talking about doing things for our community. What do you think they can do? Do you think they can be of any help, or do you think constituents and people in the community need to come outside and be of help? What you think?
I think it's a joint effort. I think it's the community. I think it's the people, it's the judges, the lawyers, the cops, the mayors. I mean, all that shit. I think everybody need to come together and put everybody on an even playing field. Once you, they divided every time, black and white, middle class, low class. Like, it's always division. So, the quicker they can make us feel like we not, what's the word I'm looking for? We not,
Oppressed?
Important? We're not on the same level?
Yeah, like, we not inferior. The quicker they make us feel like we're not inferior. You know what I mean? And that's going to be a challenge. Because as black people, we don't trust them. You know what I mean?
We don't even trust each other, let alone them.
But see, where I'm aiming for is to educate.
You want
To educate you, young people like you, young people younger than you, and to give you the knowledge that I have about the energy and the way we were taught and all that kind of stuff. That makes a difference too. You know what I'm saying? We was taught some things that wasn't real, and we believed in them, and we stand on them heavy, and that plays a big part too. And we're not going to get into that because we don't have enough time with this segment. Maybe we'll do it.
All right, so before we go, if y'all don't mind,
Sure.
I'm a singer. I'm a rapper, acapella rap,
Okay.
and y'all take the message out of it.
Okay.
And this for my people. This for us. You know what I mean? And there's no racist shit. This just my perspective. You know what I mean? On politics from a street nigga. I said, fuck Donald Trump and every single Republican. This that black people flow, living off of the government. This that thug-like shit. Tupac when I publish it. Revolutionary flow. Make a point when I'm done with it. I am not another black man asking for peace, but I am a black man who will pop the police. And fuck what you think, I got the freedom to speak, because this is a white and black thing, and all my niggas is street, but make no excuse about my brothers killing each other inside an environment when crack killing our mothers designed by the white man who feel superior to others because they get away with murder shooters down in the public and beat the case and go to court because they made up lies on how they killed one of us and it was justified. But when we smoke one of them, we get crucified. America's Most Wanted become televised. But that's what the fuck they get for getting out on us. Like, they the only one that's killing and know how to bust. Because all my niggas trained to go and they tighten you up. So fuck them and fuck all that equality stuff. And some gonna try and say I'm only promoting violence when we all know this the solution to our problem. This for my stand-up niggas who ready to riot screaming, fuck the police, there's no keeping us quiet. They abuse their authority and view us as the minority and see us all as inferior and treat us all unaccordingly. So I'm displaying bravery. All my niggas enable me, standing up to this new modern day slavery. The incarcerated, black man litigated, oppressed by the white man who hope that he never make it. I pray he emancipated away from that administration, diabolical humans fucking up our nation. But we not with that shit. A real nigga membership, and we don't have to start as long as we finish it. They better go fix some shit. They know how we can get straight turned up on some 92 count this shit. Yeah, moving like Michael X. They better get us respect. This for my generation and the ones that's coming next. The usual suspects. My niggas is upset, refusing to turn the cheek. The only outcome is death.
Okay, y'all need to give him a deal. Got 1 minute left, so we gotta wrap it up.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
for coming on the
Patton.
show and answering our questions.
From the streets for the streets. You already know what
And
it is.
we out.
From the streets for the streets.
Fast 060. All right, see.